Welcome to the highly anticipated Season 1 of That Team from DC with Caleb and Khadar, presented by Red Zone in the Lab podcast. We in the city and we chopping it up about the Commanders and all DC sports. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab and visit our website to subscribe to all our podcast platforms at www.redzoneinthelab.com. And gang, and let's get it.
OTA season, That Team from DC. It's Khadar with my boy Caleb. Today we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about the presence of Eric Bieniemy with Sam Howell, our second-year quarterback. We're going to talk tight end room and depth, and we'll chop it up with, Emmanuel Forbes and, our first-round pick. So excited for this episode.
Yo, Caleb is going to get cooked, but in a nice way.
Man, I can't wait to see Caleb get cooked. It's going to be hilarious.
Khadar can hold his own, so it's going to be a challenge. Good luck.
Hey, have you heard of That Team featuring Caleb and Khadar? Tap in today. I got Caleb cooking. New podcast alert.
I'm trying to figure out how Caleb like the Mavs but hate the Wizards, man. They both trash, man. Get out of here,
Caleb
man.
and Khadar, a podcast? Man, that's the sports gumbo we never knew we needed.
Hey, yo, Khadar cookie Caleb, yo.
Man, they gotta let Caleb cook, man. It ain't his fault. Luka and Kyrie couldn't make it to the playoffs.
Looking forward to this. This is gonna be a goodie right here. Two of the young bucks at a fan base. You know what I'm saying? Very
Caleb
informed.
or Khadar, who's going 1-0?
So Caleb and Khadar are having a podcast together. Man, who's gonna
And
watch
he'll
that?
catch up and do his thing. But man, y'all got to see this, or hear this, or both. It's gonna
Caleb
be
is
crazy.
wild. So with Khadar, it should bring a little balance.
Yeah,
It should be entertaining.
This about to be a goodie. I gotta rock with my boy Khadar. Caleb in the Madden takes his trit of that.
Khadar and Caleb talking ball is like Kendrick and Drake talking music. Man, this is gonna be crazy. Let's go.
Now, how you think Caleb gonna beat up if he get too mad, man? I ain't trying to hear that nightstick come out.
It's nightstick time.
Yes, sir, man. Caleb, man, how's it going? How you feeling? OTA season, all voluntary, but it's great to see the guys go out there and get some work in.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Glad we back here again. We talking X's and O's. Yeah, man. OTAs, exciting time. You get to see some of these players in action. We know it's just they got on shorts. They don't got on the pads right now, but they're going through a couple of basic things and basic transitions where, they're trying to get used to the offense. The defense is trying to get accumulated and also building up chemistry, which is real important going into the third season together. The defense will be stronger, even with a tougher schedule, I believe. But we're going to get into that. OTAs, the offense, they moving out there. EB doing his thing, he yelling at players, he holding them accountable, details, something that we've been missing for a good while. I think so. The X's and O's coach, which is what I've been preaching that we need. He's holding Sam accountable. He's holding every player accountable when it comes to the first string or even the fourth string. Anybody who misses an assignment, EB's getting on him, and he's doing reps, a lot of repetition, running the plays over and over again. Attention to details is what we all known him to be when we hired him. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what how he's going to affect this offense, and I think EB's going to affect this defense too, especially in training camp when they going at it. EB probably going to talk some trash to Jack Del Rio, and also iron sharpens iron. So there's going to be some plays that EB puts out there. JDR could be like, oh snap, let me go ahead and tighten that up on the defensive front, because we may see that again. With what EB brings over with his IQ offensively in the passing concepts and also in the run game. So, yeah, EB here, he living up to expectations of what we expected him to do coming to DC.
Yeah, man, I'm a firm believer in you practice how you play. Like, the competition with EB out there has just been outstanding, it seems like. And shout out to everybody that's been able to go out to the OTAs. You know, it's been real tough for many of us who live outside of Ashburn, you know, to be able to pull up there during OTA season. But, you know, I know that the fans that have been able to go have been able to really see some good stuff out there, even in the shorts, you know. So Eric Bieniemy's presence, man, it's huge, just because you mentioned the iron sharpens iron. And, you know, I think it being voluntary, also with it being an opportunity to kind of just compete and, you know, build chemistry is huge, especially when you're in year one of his offense. Because, you know, I feel like it's realistic to expect at some point, you know, early on, probably we have growing pains just with Eric Bieniemy, just because it's tough to just, you know, go with what we had before and, you know, just change everything and then, you know, start from scratch offensively. So with Bieniemy, I think it's real good for Sam Howell to have a guy that's had the attention to detail and just, you know, the experience working with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, right? You know, people, you know, don't really talk about that as much these days with Eric Bieniemy, but yeah, he came from Kansas City, worked with Patrick Mahomes. Now he's getting to work with the Sam Howell. You know, I think that's huge. And even having a backup quarterback like Jacoby Brissett, you know, which a lot of these people on Twitter talk about, you know, Brissett pushing Sam Howell and, you know, maybe getting the job and wanting Brissett to be the quarterback. No, we got our guy with Sam. And with Sam, you know, getting, you know, the veteran leader behind him and Jacoby Brissett, who's been in many different systems, who's been with many different, you know, situations offensively with different schemes and, you know, teams, being a backup quarterback, being a starting quarterback, being with Tom Brady. You know, I think the seasoning that we got with Jacoby Brissett, you know, I think is very helpful for Sam Howell, especially considering that he's a supporter, not somebody that, you know, is, you know, kind of against him, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a lot of people come to me and say, you know, Jacoby, he's team player, good guy in the locker room. Same thing with Taylor Heineke, except when you look at Brissett, he's much more of a game manager. He takes care of the football. He won't win you a game, and he won't lose you a game either. But, you know, at the quarterback position, you want a little bit more than that. And when you have a guy like Jacoby who's behind Sam, Jacoby's working with the second and third team, but he's also pushing Sam too, showing them that, Sam, you still got to earn it at the end of the day. And I'm the same way. I believe Sam's going to win this job, but at the same time, I want him to earn it. If you can't beat out Brissett, you don't need to be a starting quarterback in this league. So Jacoby's going to push him. So yeah. and I like that. You got to make that kid earn it. Too many times, Khadar, that you know that we've been fans, they just give the guy the job and say, "Here, go ahead, see what you're gonna do." No, let this kid earn it. Let this 22-year-old kid earn it, and let him work and let him keep working. And just like what EB said today in his press conference, Sam is very self-aware. Auto-corrects himself, which is a good thing for a young quarterback. He always wants to be better. And that's with any player, to be honest, no matter what position you play. I don't care if you're the quarterback down to the long snapper. You want to be able to be the best at what your responsibilities are, you know, offense, defense, special teams. You got to know what you're doing. And you got to hold yourself accountable. And EB says Sam is holding himself accountable. Every player is holding themselves accountable. And they want to be better, which I always knew that this team could do that, because this team wants to win. And everybody asks me, "Oh, is it you think the players are going to slack off? Are they too lazy?" Nah, these players ain't lazy. They putting in the work over there, Khadar. They putting in that work.
Yeah, man. So, you know, we suffered tough injury at the tight end position, Armani Rogers, you know, with the Achilles. That kind of challenges our depth a little bit at tight end. But I like what we have. And I think that EB and the front office didn't make any real moves at tight end, because I feel like they've already established what they want to do at that position, right? All the moves that they've made, you know, taking Cole Turner the year before in the 5th round, a few years back, taking John Bates, having Logan Thomas, a veteran leader at tight end. How you feel about that, Caleb?
The tight end, you already know how I feel, Khadar. I mean, look, man, I want us to draft the tight end, man. I really did. I did not want us. I get the injury part, but to me, with this recent draft class, the talent was too deep. The talent was too deep not to pick a tight end. You got Michael Mayer. You got slipping my mind. Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
You got Sam Laporta. You got Luke Musgrave.
Darnell
Washington. You got Zach Kuntz, who, if you look at his draft combine, my goodness, that guy was crazy athletically. And they didn't get a guy, which I'm not surprised. I just wanted a tight end. But look, man, in all honesty, it is what it is. This is where we're at now. You got to use what you got, and you got to use them to the best of your ability. They said Cole Turner been looking real nice over there. So they got to show me more, Khadar. I'm not falling for the bait yet. They got to show me more.
And EB, hey, you can't give that whole spiel, man, about EB and, you know,
I know
the things he's doing right.
I know.
EB, we trust, man, because
I trust EB, Khadar. I don't doubt what EB doing over there. It's just that I want to add talent in every room that we can get it, where it's necessary.
And I think he does too. But, you know, we used our draft picks at other, you know, to address other positions. So if, you know, sometimes we don't know what his draft board looked like. You know, maybe the chips didn't fall to get a tight end that he really wanted, right? Sure. So I think nonetheless, it wasn't necessarily a need that they felt was very dire. Otherwise, they would have addressed it through the draft or free agency, right? Even with the Armani Rogers injury, you know, I feel like Armani Rogers, despite the fact that he's shown flashes in the preseason, even, you know, got some time in the regular season, some reps, and looked good, you know, I feel like he was just a really adept player for them. He wasn't somebody that they were really counting on to, you know, come in and just dominate, right?
He only made 4 to 5 plays throughout the season. So when he got hurt, yeah, it sucked, and it gave some of the fans PTSD of, oh no, the sky is falling, the tight end room is about to no, he didn't. I'm not saying he's a bad player or a good player. We just didn't know yet. This tight end room is unknown. We know what Logan is. We already know what he is. I'm looking for the younger guys to step up. So Cole Turner, step up, my guy. Stay healthy. Keep working. We believe in you. Just keep working, man. Please.
I like what we have, man. I think we're going to be shocked. I think some of y'all are going to be shocked. The tight end haters, as I call it, man. And, you know, the other thing before we move on with the tight end room is, you know, EB has shown that he can attack defenses in many ways. You know, I see that, you know, he lost Tyreek Hill. And, you know, he was able to start running the ball a little more with Isaiah Pacheco and, you know, use Jerick McKinnon out the backfield. And, you know, obviously he had Travis Kelce, right? When he had Tyreek Hill, he showed you that he can attack the position and he can attack defenses with wide receivers, you know, McCole Hardman, Tyreek Hill, you know, them guys, they was dominating from all different parts of the field, make you defend every blade of grass. And this is a situation that EB now has, you know, 3 guys in Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. And I'm real excited for year 2 of Jahan Dotson, which we'll get to another time. I think EB has a lot of pieces that he's never really had before on offense at, you know, the skill position. So, you know, tight end, it might be a little more of a luxury for them to have addressed it, you know, through the draft and free agency with the guys that we have in the building right now. But, you know, in the future, that might be something he goes and looks at.
Yeah.
This is Hog Farmer Jeff of the Hog Farmers. And before you listen to that team from DC with Caleb and Khadar, presented by the Red Zone and the Lab, please check out our website at hogfarmerscharity.org. We are starting a Gaming Go-Karts for Children's Hospital campaign with a goal of $7,000 because kids deserve a chance to be kids. The Hog Farmers would like to purchase 2 gaming carts for 2 children's hospitals. Being in the hospital can be scary and isolating. Video games bring joy and are a source of relief. Please help restore a sense of normalcy for children during their hospital stays. We're helping kids by improving the patient's experience. It's a great way to socialize. 65% of gamers play with friends. It provides a sense of adventure, and sometimes healthcare staff even use it to assist with treatments. The cart is made up of hospital-grade construction and materials, 24-inch monitor with speakers, and secured storage bin and components. And please show some love by subscribing to the podcast on YouTube and visit www.redzoneinthelab.com. And as always, hail to the Commanders.
You know, you mentioned iron sharpening iron, and you mentioned Eric Bieniemy making it a lot more challenging for the defense, right? You know, Jack Del Rio now, you know, he's going to have to come out during training camp. And, you know, when the defense lines up against the offense with, you know, some real creative stuff, because I feel like in some ways Jack Del Rio don't even really know what's coming his way. You know, it's a new offense that is new to everybody, even the defense, right? So Manuel Forbes, our first-round pick, our beloved first-round pick, he gets the opportunity to go against all of these different receivers that I mentioned, most notably Terry McLaurin. Eric Bieniemy, the quarterback play, because that also is huge, right? The guy throwing him the football, Sam Howell, and Terry McLaurin getting to attack Emmanuel Forbes. What does that mean for Emmanuel Forbes going forward as a pro going into his first season?
I mean, you're going up against one of the most underrated receivers in the league. To me, he's still a top 10 receiver in Scary Terry. I mean, he's shown what he can do no matter what no matter who you got the quarterback. He don't care. He's still gonna get the ball. Me and my friend was talking about that today, bro, that if the ball is in Terry's vicinity, somehow he's going to get it. That's why he leads the league in contested catches for the last 2 years. Over 240 plus targets and only 5 drops, which is elite. That's elite hands. And going into the draft, I'm sorry. I apologize. Not going into the draft, going into college when he was getting recruited, he said he had to work on his hands. So he's been working on that ever since he, got into college and in the NFL. But Forbes, you're going up against one of the best receivers in the league. It's going to help him a lot. He's going to know how to deal with speed, different releases that he has to go up against, because Terry's release is one of the best. If you actually go look at film, everybody, go look at the tape. Terry's release is insane. He gets off the line so fast at a high level, and he's so strong. That's another thing too. Terry is a strong guy. So Forbes is going to have it. He's going to have some practice where he's going up against a guy that's not only stronger than him and bigger than him in his as far as weight's concerned, but a guy that's going to teach you how to fight, in the air, and how to fight for that football, to break it up or to catch a pick. Because look at the receivers he got to go in the league. He has to go up against some good guys this year coming up, and even in our division twice a year. So that's good practice for him. And they said he's been near the football. I was listening to a podcast with JP Finley. He's been around the football a lot. And as a defender, that's a really, really good thing. If you're always around the football, swatting it, deflections, picks, that's good. That's really good to hear. Now, when the pads come on, that's a different story. So we're going to see. I can't wait till when they put these pads on, man. And I want to see Forbes put in that work. I'm starting to fall in love with Forbes a little bit. I'm seeing the swag online. He got the chain. He got the visor, dog. Yeah, he looking real nice out there, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned the pads. But, I feel like with Emmanuel Forbes, we're getting to see a lot right now, really, just even in the shorts, just because, for a DB and receivers, I feel like, OTAs is an opportunity for them to really show out compared to some of the other positions, like, notably running back, right? You don't really know what you got in a running back till the pads really come on. But, for him, he's still somebody that's got to hold his coverage, right? He's going against a Terry McLaurin, a Jahan Dotson, a Curtis Samuel. He's going against, backups, whoever it may be. The guy in front of him, he's got to be able to hold that coverage no matter who's throwing the ball, right, or whoever's in front of him. And, for corners, I think that's really huge because you never know how long, you're going to be covering for. Even with our D-line, during the season, we are very lucky to have a D-line like ours and the results that we've gotten, from our D-line. So, in the ideal situation, he's not going to hold his coverage that long. He doesn't need to, right? Because, the D-line's getting home and he's able to kind of use his skills as an opportunistic DB and, get on the turnover wave and, create, some big plays for our defense. With Jack Del Rio and just our entire regime, I think one thing that they valued is positional versatility. So I like the fact that he's going against a Terry McLaurin right now because that might not even be how they use him, come week 1, right? It might be somebody else going against shadowing the number 1 receiver for, opposite teams. But, if Emmanuel Forbes is called on to do it, I feel like he's not going to shy away from that. I feel like that's somebody that embraces the opportunity, being an SEC guy, being an All-American, being somebody that, has led college football in pick sixes. He's licking his chops to go ahead and, create a big play for us. And that's something we need, man. We need big plays for our defense because that's only going to help Bieniemy out and, Sam Howell, if we can get more opportunities for them to get the football. So, I'm really excited about that, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And even if you got people mentioning me, Khadar, on Twitter, talking about some, oh, look what Devontae Smith did to him. I mean, okay, yeah, so what? It happens. Every good corner gets beat. Ramsey got beat this year. A corner in our division, 2 of them got beat a lot this year. What are we talking about here? He's going to get beat, ladies and gentlemen, and it's okay. It's okay. He's going to learn from that. And like he said, and like he always said, Khadar, and the first thing that I said on this podcast after we drafted him, he plays from the neck up. Meaning this guy studies film. He got the IQ. He gonna study. He gonna be in that film room. So let's get it, man.
Caleb, you talking like a nice guy here, man. It's almost like I don't even recognize you. On Twitter, you a savage, man. You be talking crazy. That's why they be mentioning you.
Look, man.
They don't be mentioning you for sport, man. They be doing it because you over here talking about, anything with anybody.
Nah, till I. It ain't. Look, Khadar, look. All I'm saying is, man, this team can really play, bro. If they can just remain a level of consistency and paying attention to details, this team going to surprise some people. We're going to turn some heads this year, I think, because of coaching, mainly because of coaching.
Yeah, we need to get. And this is a message to everybody, repping Commanders. We got to get everybody in that sports after dark space. It's coming. They're going to do state of the NFC East. All right. They're going to be talking nonsense about the Dallas Cowboys and how they win in the Super Bowl.
Wait, when is this? When is this?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. They literally have been tweeting like the state of the division is coming. So they're going to do that very soon.
Yeah, we gonna need.
We gotta get all the Commanders.
We gonna need y'all to pull up, man. Because one thing for sure in these spaces, Khadar, one person in there, we all in there, and that's a fact. So
yeah,
I didn't even know that. I'm glad you told me. I'm coming with the heat, man. I'm coming with the heat.
Man. Shout out to
being realistic, but still coming with the heat. We ain't gonna let anybody just talk us down, man. Like we don't got a team over here.
Don't let anybody talk to you about your football team like you don't know them and they ain't your football team, right? It's like, how can you tell me? How can you gaslight? How can you talk crazy? How can you tell me about the football team that I watch every Sunday? How can you tell me about the football team that I see at the OTAs, training camps, the draft, and every time, they have anything in the news regarding, them? Like, it's all burgundy and gold here, and that's how we got to keep it. I'm excited for that time. Glad we was able to do this episode, man. Any closing thoughts?
Look, man, all I'm gonna say is this, let's continue to work. Let's continue to get these reps in, man, offensively, defensively. I ain't gonna drink the Kool-Aid yet, Khadar. I ain't gonna drink the Kool-Aid yet. I gotta wait. Gotta be patient. Last year, I drank the Kool-Aid. This year, level-headed, cool, calm, and collected. The same thing EB says Sam Howell is doing. He don't get too high or too low, and I love that. You gotta love that in a quarterback. Never get too high, too low. You gotta work through the growing pains. That's what we gotta do with this team, man. This offense, it's going to be better. This defense, they have a chance this year, I think, Khadar, to really step into that word that we want them to be, and that's elite. If this defense starts creating turnovers, they will have a conversation. They will have a say to the league that they're an elite defense. Coming in to next season, they're already top 5. They're 4th. The NFL ranked them 4th among all defenses going into this upcoming season. Now, when they start creating turnovers, they will be an elite defense.
Yeah, man. Excited to see that. Voluntary workouts are, going for OTAs voluntary mandatory is next week. Excited to see that. All our guys putting in work. Everybody's looked good so far, with the highlights that I've seen on Twitter and all the press conferences that have been available. So excited to see what's next, man. Another episode, That Team from DC. Peace and love, beautiful people.
Peace and love.
Now keep it 100. That wasn't so bad now, was it? Spread the word. Because like Dion say, we coming. Thanks for listening to the Team from DC podcast. We truly appreciate your time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at redzoneinthelab.com and also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can download our podcast at your usual podcast platforms. Also visit redzoneinthelab.com. See you next time. Gang, gang. Holla at your boy.